Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland. I'm happy to announce tonight I have Denise Pridemore, paranormal investigator. She does the Sally House. She's investigated a lot of locations we're going to talk about tonight. Sally House was probably the one she first told me that, the one I was most interested in, but also the McPike Mansion. Oh my God, she's got so many good tales to tell. I can't wait. We'll be right with you in just a sec. All right, how you doing, Denise?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, if I get my music to stop playing. There we go.
I felt like I should have started stripping.
Oh my God. I get a lot of viewers in. Like, oh my God, check out Denise is stripping on Paranormal Soup.
Oh yeah, that would really be paranormal. Everybody wants to see a 50-year-old woman take off her clothes.
You never know. It is Paranormal Soup. I have not any discredit to my viewers, but I'm sure I have some strange ones out there. But you're a beautiful woman. I'm sure that some people would definitely enjoy it. So, but I'm not telling you to strip. Don't strip. Look how crazy things have gotten, and it's not even been a minute.
You don't know. You don't want to know.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's huge to have you on, and thank you so much. So tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things and her experiences and stuff. We have some great photos that she's going to share on the show. I can't wait to let the audience see. Later on, we should have an open line segment again through Skype. Just so you guys know, you can add me on the Skype here. If you look down below on the oojblandoo, that's my Skype ID. You can add me to your contacts and call in, but don't call in yet. We're not ready yet. We got a lot to talk about before then. It'll be more towards the end of the show if you guys want to call in or have any questions about the stuff we talked about or questions for Denise. And if you got questions for me, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer you. But first, of course, the World Wide Web of Weird. So let me get that screen share back up again. And we will look at some of the strange, weird stuff that's been on YouTube lately. And of course, you know, there's always a ton of UFO videos out of all that. Now, Denise, you do the paranormal, you do a lot of ghost stuff. You got any interest in the UFO stuff?
No, I tend to tell people stories like, you know, that there's a lot of UFOs wherever Bigfoot's at. So I believe that Bigfoot and UFOs have something to do. It's great to get people started. But other than that, I have no interest at all.
I'm all things strange and weird, unusual, and after I saw my first really big UFO over my head, I was totally hooked. So, but I tell you what, I do this, World Wide Web of Weird segment, and it's always more UFOs than anything because there's just always like 20 a week. I swear, every time I go to look, what's October, 2015 got, and there's always another set of videos.
Yep.
All right. So let me see here. I think my first video, though, I got up is I got the UFOs spotted near the sun, October 3rd and October 4th. Now, I've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of footage about UFOs being spotted on these sun observations. The sun's hot, man. It's really hot. So if these are really UFOs, we're not just misidentifying some kind of plasma activity. It's got to be some incredible technology. I mean, hundreds of thousands of years of way beyond us, because to get that close to the sun is just mind-boggling. And huge. They're huge. So, yeah. I would like to think they're probably some kind of plasma activity we just don't understand yet. But it's weird. So that was the first thing in the line of UFOs. I got more, though. On to the scary ghost video, it says. This one I just saw pop up recently. Let me look at the tagline on this.
Do something.
After the gorilla commercial.
You don't just throw away chewy mint freshness.
Let's see.
Call me later, man. Mentos. What the fresh?
Gotta love it. Let's see. You're about to see his haunted events encountered by real people. Some may find disturbing. It's so hard for me to find some ghost videos lately, but I saw this one and I wanted to call shenanigans. Let me turn off their horrible music for the effect. For one, what's this guy just doing? This isn't a paranormal crew. There's no tagline for this. This guy's just out filming. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to go out and film with the camera. Who knows what I might see? And then it's going to be right up in there. We'll slow it down and show it again. There. Come on, people. That is the worst CG ghost. It could have been any more interesting than that. I saw that pop up. Real scary ghost video caught. I'm like, it was on Facebook on one of the sites. I'm like, really? Come on. I want some good ghost videos. People, I'm showing this for a reason. You got a good ghost video you saw on YouTube, let me know. You hit me up on Facebook, send me a message, send me the link. Call in tonight on the Skype line later. Let me know. Because, man, I am sick of seeing these CG ones. At least the UFO stuff looks like it could possibly be real. I mean, come on. No.
That just looks like a light from a car or something.
I think it's CG, actually. I think it's just a blurring on the video that they do, and they try to make it look like it gets cut off by something. I don't know. I don't think it's misidentification. I see a lot of these kind of videos coming from Ghost World. A lot of these videos that are in India they make. I don't know why. This one wasn't, but where they it's like they just discovered the program Lightwave and are getting into computer graphics. So you got a good ghost video, let me know. Let me know. I want to see it. All right, it's back to UFOs, of course, because I always got a ton of that. Woman captures UFO, 2 a.m. hovering in Scotland. This is another October 4th one. This I'd like to call shenanigans on, too. Got a lot of shenanigans going around. The reason I say that is because of drones. I've seen drones, man. I've seen them with the lights and the stuff. It looks big. It can, but we don't know the perspective or the shot angle or where she's at. This could very well be possibly a drone. The sad thing is there could be a legitimate UFO footage, and I might still think it's a drone. But they're putting all these nice little colorful LED lights on these drones now.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a Scotch-induced UFO.
Well, they're always blurry.
Yep, always. Never clear.
No. It's always got. And if it is, I always say it, if it's really clear, then we're like, oh, it's fake. It never fails.
Yeah, you can't win for losing.
No. And that's sadly the world we live in. There's nothing we can believe that we see.
Because so much is faked.
Yeah, I know. And I hate fakers.
Me too.
Why do you waste my time? You know, you blur up all the, they blur up all the lines of what's real and what's not by faking. And this might not have been somebody just trying to fake. Don't let me say this was somebody trying to fake. They might have really thought they were seeing a UFO, but they might have been fooled that this was somebody out there with a joyride on their new drone. Heck, I see commercials for drones now.
Oh, yeah. They used one during the filming of Ghost Adventures when they did that out in Kansas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're great for, heck, I showed the Bigfoot footage that was caught by a drone. Was really cool, I mean, they're great technology, but they're a pain in the butt to the UFOlogy community, and they're a pain in the butt to the FAA. They got to be getting concerned about these things flying around because they're going higher, and lights and stuff that not cool with planes in the air. All right, UFO again, San Carlos, Sonora. Sorry to say that. I always butcher everything. This is in Mexico, October 1st.
Witness explained. I was vacationing in San Carlos, Sonora, Mexico when I stopped my vehicle to take a picture of the marina with my mobile phone. I didn't notice anything in the sky, but I was looking at my phone screen when I took the picture. When I looked at the picture later, I noticed the yellow spot, so I zoomed in. I saw the yellow shape. I have shown it to several local people and no one has seen anything
It's just
around
odd.
that looks similar.
It looks like the yellow submarine.
Yeah, like the Beatles decided to get up in the air.
Yeah.
They finally got their yellow UFO instead.
They were high, that's for sure.
Somebody was high.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I mean,
maybe it's the magic school bus too.
Right. That's
what it looks like.
I love it though because it's not your typical flying saucer UFO. That's what I liked about it. All right, massive fleet over Syria with everything going on right now in Syria. Here, obviously this is the jet planes, either Russian or American or God knows what going on in Syria right now. It'd be interesting. Every war has had what they call the Foo Fighters, the spots of aliens. Let me turn their music off. Every war, I swear, has had sightings of UFOs. So now we got what's going on in Syria, and then the people are starting to spot them there. But God knows what kind of technology either side is throwing in on this when it comes to us or Russia over Syria right now. Might be unidentified, but they might know what it is. It might be one of theirs.
Could be. Who knows? Well, somebody knows.
It's weird. But like I said, they got all kinds of stuff going on up in the air right now. They're trying not to run into each other between the U.S. and Russia. They don't really explain, it looks like it's coming, like they're trying to shoot this through trees. It's late at night. I don't know what is going on. But I thought it was interesting because, like I said, it's another war. People are spotting UFOs again at a war. All right, I had to bring this one up. I think it's shenanigans, but it interests the hell out of me if it's not. Floating interdimensional city like UFO witnessed by hundreds in China. I'm a big one I love parallel universes. I love the idea that maybe there's, if they're aliens, maybe they're parallel universe aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if a real floating city would just suddenly pop out of the sky. I don't know.
No, that kind of just sounds a little odd. Where would the people walk?
But it kind of reminds me of the stories from India and stuff. Like they talk about the floating cities and the what text? Ancient text. I can't think of the name of it right now. And then they say Project Bluebeam. I don't know what that's about. I am not a UFOologist, people. I'm just interested.
Otherwise, those are the straightest clouds I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know. If I looked in the sky, saw something like that, I'd probably poop myself.
I think there'd be a lot of poop around.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way it's clouds. It's either it's fake or it's real. I don't think it's misidentification of clouds. I don't think that. I got to find out more about what Project Bluebeam. I've heard that name before. I've heard about Project Bluebeam, but it's not recalling what it's about.
Yeah, I think I've heard about that in passing, but I don't remember enough about it to even be dangerous.
All right, one more shenanigan for the night. Oh, it was already playing. Bigfoot onto my cryptoid front at a birthday party. He wanted some cake.
We all want cake.
Even Bigfoot. Like, the one parent has to see it. She's videotaping there. This person's videotaping. They don't care. Let's let the kids go run towards it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
What are they doing? We need to find her. Where they saw Bigfoot? Oh, she might be in the front.
Oh, yeah, I'd be really calm.
Yeah, right? Let's just let our kids go run out towards Bigfoot. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's not going to happen. I tell everybody, if I see Bigfoot, I'm running him over with my car.
Yeah.
I'm going to have pictures. I'm going to have everybody out there to see him. There's no way that anybody would have been calm. and there's no way they would have stopped where they were. They would have went running into the woods after them if they really.
That's what the kids did.
Well, it looks like they stopped.
Yeah.
So.
But the parents, the mom goes out there to film, but I wouldn't let my kids run out there. I might run out there, but I wouldn't want my kids running out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't let mine either.
So I kind of call shenanigans. I think somebody got in a big hairy suit and wanted to mess with the kids at the birthday party. I'm just saying, maybe. They got a little slow-mo of it coming up here. Let me see. I think they did.
You did hear about the guy that did dress up in a suit and got shot, right?
Yes.
I mean, he died. I mean, that's...
I'm sorry I laughed. I'm sorry.
I know, but still, I mean, it was stupid. Why would you dress up in a suit?
When I saw that article on it too, I always wondered, like, before that I ever saw that, I always thought someday some idiot's going to go out there dressed up as a Bigfoot and get shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because there's plenty of people out there. It's like, I'm going to shoot Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, well, like me, I'm going to run him over with my car.
Right there's your proof, people.
I drive through Kentucky every year for the last 28 years, and I've never seen Bigfoot.
Yeah, well,
I'm waiting.
I've had plenty of ghost encounters and my one really big UFO encounter, but I'm not in any area. I mean, I've been to Kentucky, I've been to places where Bigfoot have, but I've never gone hunting for Bigfoot. I believe it exists. I think there's enough evidence that there's something to it, but I doubt I will ever see anything in my life.
It's too commercialized anymore, with BFRO and the Mountain Monster Show where they went hunting Bigfoot in Pikeville, Kentucky, and it mind controlled them, and I was like,
oh my God!
We stopped watching then.
Yeah, don't get me started on that show. I never knew that about the mind control stuff. I really haven't watched enough of the show. I saw enough to be done with it. Like, oh my God, it's just like the bad South Park. I've never seen South Park. They're like, it's coming right for us. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, if there is Bigfoot, yeah, Denise might run it over with his car, but let's not go on a hunting party for it either. Let's not go out there with a bunch of guns and try to kill it either.
No, I drive through places that I know are squatchy, and I'm looking and I'm going, well, I don't see anything.
Well,
I'm waiting.
My co-host down below just joined us. Judy, you there? She's figuring out the mute button.
Can't get my mouse to work. I do want to mention something. Rhodey is out there trying to get on chat, but I think she has an invite from you to get on chat. So if you want to send her an invite.
Doesn't work that way. The chat, I don't think that works. Rhodey's trying to comment, but...
Did you see my comment?
I saw your comment.
That's from me.
Yeah.
She's not able to comment, and I think she may need an actual invite to be able to do that.
She has to be in the show to do that.
I think so.
And I didn't write down her, darn it, I didn't write down her thing because at night I took it all off my phone and I just deleted those.
What do you need, her email address?
Yeah, that's all
I'll send her a message.
Okay, just let me know.
I'm messaging her back and forth right now.
Okay.
So, okay?
Alrighty. All right, so, Denise, that was my World Wide Web of weird.
It was weird.
Yep, it usually is. A lot of shenanigans I showed tonight, though. I've had some good stuff I've showed, stuff I think is really good footage. Sometimes you catch some gems on YouTube, and then you catch some other gems that are just pure shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
So, Denise, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
There's a lot of it to tell, but I'll try to keep it to the minimum.
You don't have to be too minimum on it, though. It's very interesting, so you don't keep it too short.
Well, I live in Kansas. I'm actually from Maryland. I grew up in Baltimore, and lived there until I got married, and moved to Arkansas, got divorced, moved back to Maryland, got married, moved to Kansas, and there was a lot of stuff in between. And in there was, growing up in Maryland, my grandmother was killed when I was 5, and my father was murdered when I was 10, and the very first paranormal experience I remember was my grandmother dying, and I told everybody I thought Grandpa killed her, but I was 5. You're 5, you're dumb, you don't know anything, and nobody wanted to hear that. So when I was 10, when my dad was killed, I felt like I had seen it all. I got up and I said, Dad's dead. And my mom's like, how did you know? And I told her, and it was like, okay, don't tell anybody.
Right.
That you can do this because they're going to think you're nuts. Okay, this was in 1975.
Right.
Okay. So we all know that it was 1995 to 2000 before we were actually allowed to tell people, hey, we see stuff, we hear stuff. Or they just thought you were weird. Unless you had a real big book and you were helping out the president or something. Right. You were a nut job.
Yep.
And so I pretty much kept my mouth shut for the rest of the time. Well, we moved to a house in Kansas City, Missouri in 1986. And we had lived there 11 years before we found out somebody had committed suicide there. But the whole time we were there, my kids, me, we saw this boy there. And we didn't know who he was, but he'd just come in my room and he'd go, Mom, and I'd turn over and I'd say, what? And he would go away. And went to buy a car. This is what's really strange. We went to go buy a car. We're filling out the paperwork. And the guy goes, oh, I know where you live. We used to live across the street from you. You live in the suicide house.
Oh, that's exactly what you want to hear. You lived in the suicide house.
I was like, really? Who committed suicide there? I said, because I don't know anybody who committed suicide there.
Right.
And he goes, oh, it was, Bill? And I go, yeah. And he goes, his wife's best friend's son committed suicide. I'm like, oh, my God. I said, I know her. That explains why she wouldn't come in my house.
Oh, wow.
We would invite her in, and we bought furniture from her and other things. She wouldn't come in our house. And she had rented. She was a renter when all this happened. And I told her, I said, I hate to tell you this. I said, but your son is there. He's looking for you. And she started crying. And she goes, why would you tell me that? And I was like, well, because it's true. I said, he's looking for you about every 3 or 4 nights. He's in my room. And she goes, which room? And I said, I told her which one we were using as the master bedroom. And she goes, that was my bedroom. And I said, and his bedroom was downstairs off the dining room. And she goes, yeah, how'd you know? I said, well, because I said, those are the 2 places where we see him. And we sold that house, but we didn't know that you were supposed to tell people if your house was haunted. But since we had no clue about it when we bought it, we didn't tell anybody. We don't give out the address. That's one nice thing that we didn't do. But the people who bought it from us still live there. I don't know if maybe they're not sensitive enough to feel it, but 3 of my 4 children, well, the youngest one was only 9 months old when we left, but 3 of them saw the spirit in our house. So when we moved to Lewisburg, which is on the other side of state line, we had stuff going on here, and one day my daughter, she sends me a message. She goes, there was a body found down on 311th Street, which is, we're at 287, so whatever the math is. Right. About 25 blocks. And we're rural, so 25 blocks, probably 2.5, 3 miles. And I said, well, it wasn't your dad. Again, I'm very sarcastic. For anybody who doesn't get that, sarcasm is my first language and sometimes my second and third. And so the first thing I told her was, it's not your dad. And she goes, no, it was a woman. And I said, okay. Well, later on that night, we're watching the news, and on the news is this woman, and she's wearing a Papa John's shirt. And my daughter goes, she's the one I saw in my bedroom.
Oh, my God.
So apparently we have, since me and my daughters are so sensitive, we may see the passing spirits.
Well, it's funny because last night I ended up staying up to 2 a.m. because I said that's Halloween. I've been watching a bunch of old Halloween movies from my past that I love, and I watched Sixth Sense. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about that, he has ghosts that pass through his house. They didn't haunt his house. They didn't die in his house in the movie, but they just end up there while they're in that stage of passing. Sometimes, like the little girl that her mom was poisoning her in the movie, and then she just ends up in his house. It's like they seem to somehow end up in places where people are open to see them. Mm-hmm. And that's so creepy. Fascinating. I find it fascinating because I had experiences since I was a kid and stuff I've seen. So I the fact that your daughter saw this person, just why? The question is why? Is it just because she could see her, or is there just this, when somebody's in that realm of passing that you just pick up, they're showing up in a lot of places. I don't know. It boggles my mind.
Don't know. All I know is that she was. Why is it doing that?
What?
It's echoing.
Oh. Let me. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Better? Is it done echoing?
I was hearing the echo too.
Okay, I got rid of the echo, the button of echo.
Okay.
So hopefully
That's better.
It's better? Okay. Yeah. I left that button on. I forgot. That's what I have to press that button whenever I play audio from YouTube, and I forgot and left it on. I apologize to the audience and to you. I always forget that damn button.
It's okay. So, well, the funny thing is this woman had been killed on 95th Street. So 95th, they're dropped off at 311th, and she's killed in a hotel. And so she may have still been still have some consciousness and was reaching out for help. And but that's not the only person we've seen in our house. We've got this dark entity that follows us from the Sally house and everything. So, and I know a lot of people have heard about the Sally house.
Yeah.
It's an unusual place, and I was going to tell you this story earlier, and I decided to wait. But way back when, in 1993, 94. I was watching sightings, just like you did,
yeah.
but I was older. And I was watching this stuff in the middle of the night when I was with my kids and stuff. So, because I'd have to get up to feed them or whatever. So I would do that, and I'd sit there in the chair and I'd watch, sightings, a haunting, scariest places on earth. You name it, I was probably watching it. I saw 3 places on there, and those 3 places were Pike Mansion, the Sally house, and the Villisca Axe Murder house.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to all these places. I'm going to go. And so the first place we actually got to go to was McPike Mansion. And when we went, we met Brad Kling and his brother Barry. They happened to be there filming for Ghost Lab. Pull up, and there's this giant truck there. And we're like, what in the hell is this? We don't know. And because, the show hadn't aired yet. And so we're looking at that and going, okay.
Oh, so you met him before the show. We're lost. You met him before anybody knew who he was. Wow.
Yeah. So we basically, I get out of the car and I walk up and I go, is this McPike Mansion? And at the time, they had it rented out. So they weren't being very nice at first. But then I asked the question and I said, hey, yeah, we've just been looking for this place. Can you tell me, is this the right place? I said, we'll come back some other time. We're not trying to bother you or anything. And that's when they go, well, you guys want to hang out for a little while? And I said, no. I said, me and my husband and my daughter, I said, I don't think it'd be really appropriate for us to horn in on your time. And I said, but thank you so much for telling us this is it. And that was the best part for us, was that we found it. We didn't know who they were until a few weeks later when the show actually aired. But, so now I'm a volunteer at McPike Mansion. For those of you who don't know, it's about 350 miles for us to drive there to volunteer twice a year. And
McPike Mansion's in Alton, Illinois?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's in Alton, Illinois. And so basically you go across 70. And, you guys use 70 to get to Indiana and stuff. But no, we take 70 into 370 and we're over there. It takes a while to get there sometimes with the traffic. But it's a really nice place. So that was the first place we went. Then
hold on, Denise. I hit the wrong button. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my fault.
At least I saw it.
Yeah.
So about a year later, we went on a family reunion up to Red Oak, Iowa. And they had us diverted. We had to go a different way. And I'm going, I'd really like to find out where Villisca is. My husband's going, oh, it's got to be north. He goes, I've never heard of it. He goes, it can't be. He goes, it has to be up north because we would have, as kids, we would have went there. And because they spent every summer in Red Oak, Iowa. Ron's mom is one of 11 kids. So lots and lots of cousins, family, stuff. We get there, or we turn this corner, and it says Villisca, 11 miles, or 9 miles, something like that. And we get there, and it's like, oh my God, this is it. And I took a picture, and it was a really neat picture. I didn't share it with you, but it's a really neat picture. And it is of the sign. And I had a Palm phone that didn't have a flash and a really slow shutter speed. Mm-hmm. It was a lightning bug. looks like this really great vortex on the picture.
Oh, wow.
But everybody was like, "Oh, that's so scary. That's so scary." It's a lightning bug.
It's a lightning bug.
Yeah, so I started debunking stuff right away. So this was, 2009. We go to the family reunion, and I show the family, and there's this Ron, Donnie, Roger. We need to talk to you guys. We got to tell you something. Okay, this has happened before, where I found out something before the boys did, and we need to tell you something. Your great uncle was the sheriff in the investigation of the Villisca Axe murders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that's not going to stop us. We're still going.
So give a little bit of history on that one. I've heard of it, but I am not like a history-prone person to even talk about it. So give us a little history on that case in particular.
Well, basically what it is back on June 10th, 1912, sorry, because the 100-year anniversary just passed. Yeah. 8 people were axed to death in their beds. And there are some more horrifying details that never came out in the paper about it, but is in the court documents about things that had happened to one of the little girls there. So I'm not going to go into that. But there were 8 deaths that day. There's another death that people don't know about, though. Lena and Ina Stillinger stayed the night in the house with the family. They were just neighbors. The mother lost her unborn baby. She miscarried. So Lena and Ina lost their baby brother or sister that night too. So when you got to the graveyard and you'll see this mass grave for the Moore family, you've got Ina and Lena and their baby brother or sister is buried there as well. And
that's crazy. They all died that day.
And nobody knows who did this. And it's related to an unsolved axe murder here in Miami County, where I live, over in Paola, Kansas. 2 people were axed to death in their beds 4 days before the Villisca axe murders. So there was a whole string of murders between Colorado and the Illinois and the Indiana state line. I've seen
a documentary on that. It didn't involve just that, but it talked about that this went unsolved. That somebody went around with an axe and in multiple states. Yep. And then it reminds me of the axe murder of New Orleans too. Yeah. For people, the gun advocates out there, hey, before there was guns, people were still killing people. There was guns then, but people were going around with axes killing it. There's a will, there's a way, and there's crazy people who will find it. It's crazy. So we'll start out with that place for right now. Investigating-wise, have you had good evidence come from that place at all?
My daughter saw a full-body apparition walk past her and into the attic while she was standing upstairs. At this time, all we had were cameras and that palm phone and stuff, because we didn't know that we were going this very first time until we got up there. And so the first thing we did was we went in the house, and Johnny Hauser, and at the time Darwin Lynn was still alive, and they gave us a tour, and it was just me, my husband, and 2 of my daughters. And they left us alone in the house after they told us about the fact, shared a picture of Ron's great uncle with us and everything. And so they left, and me and Ron and my 2 daughters were in the house, and Lauren was upstairs, and we were downstairs. And she comes down and she goes, oh my God. She goes, I saw this man walk by me. And I said, what did he look like? And she goes, he was taller than me, and she goes, he was solid, but he wasn't solid. And I said, well, we need to figure out what he looked like. And I showed her a picture a couple days later of Henry Moore. Not Henry Moore. Is it Henry? Yeah. Henry Moore. Yeah. And I said, is this him? And she goes, yeah, it looks like him. But the thing is Blackie, I think his last name was Blackwell. I don't remember his last name. But he looked very similar to Henry Moore. But Henry Moore did time at the Missouri State Pen for axing to death his family members, grandmother and an aunt, or his mother and grandmother, something like that. And it was just horrifying. But he got out on good behavior. He was supposed to serve life, and he got out on good behavior. He died. How do you get out on good
behavior when you axe murdered somebody. I don't know what your behavior is in jail, but it should never excuse you to get out.
I guess he didn't axe anybody while he was in there.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't have an axe.
Yeah. So he got out, and he ended up dying in an asylum or halfway house or something in St. Louis. It's in Murderpedia about him. In fact, Murderpedia is a great resource on people's jail time.
That's awesome.
And but you know, you've got all these people go there, and they come out with, well, it was Andy, or it was Blackie, or it was, nobody knows. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, if the killer's still there, you're going to get some residual of something. But the thing is Henry, Andy, they sound kind of similar on a ghost box. You kind of can't tell. If it ends in Y, it could be Monday.
Yeah.
So, but that was really the only other evidence we've gotten there is just feelings. My husband watches me and says that I'm mad for 2 weeks after we go there. I get upset while I'm there, and I think it's because I kind of relate to the mother, that she couldn't protect her kids, things like that. So my husband doesn't like taking me there because for 2 weeks he has to live a pain in the ass.
Yeah, if there's a place that did that to my wife, I'd be like, yeah, we're not going back.
Yeah.
Nope.
So we've been, how many times have we been? 3? 4. We've been 4 times. And we're looking forward to going again, but the next time we go, we're going to Malvern Manor, which is 37 miles the other direction.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to see Malvern Manor. It's the latest up-and-coming place in Iowa.
Really?
Yep, you could do Villisca one day, Malvern Manor the next, and then the next go to Atchison and check out the Sally House.
Well, me and my wife's retirement plan is to get an RV and travel the country and go to haunted places, so...
Well, we kind of do that. We kind of look for trips that we can do that involve spirits and spirits.
All right, hold on one second. I got to take care of something here really quick. Roddy, you there? Rowdy? I'm sorry. I don't know why I do that. Rowdy. I see the name and I want to say Rowdy. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because you're rowdy.
Could be.
Hey, Rowdy, you got like 2 different signals going on right now, too, on here.
Okay, I don't even know how they're seeing me on the screen.
I'm gonna have to kick you for now, Rowdy, because you're echoing through the show.
Okay.
All right. You can call in on Skype later, though. I'm gonna have the Skype line if you can do that.
Okay, I will try for sure.
Okay. I had her muted on the show so people wouldn't hear it on the show, but I have to hear it on my headset. So the entire time you're talking, I can hear Rowdy trying to get set up so she can talk on here. So next time, Rowdy, we'll get you figured out. We'll get you on here. I feel bad. Yeah. I hate ejecting people, but I had to because I was hearing the echo really bad in my ear.
Yeah, you don't want a headache for tomorrow since you're going to have to probably do something you didn't want to do. So,
yeah, go to work.
Well, we kind of have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Villisca is an unusual place. Some people will get sad and suddenly start to cry and not know why. But for us, like I said, the biggest thing is that we've asked the same questions there every single time we go. I basically write them down, and then I have somebody else take the answers. Because, you know, you figure we went in 2009. We haven't been probably since 2013. I don't remember what those questions were.
Oh, yeah.
But we get the same answer every time. When we go back and compare the notes, what I'll do is I'll write down the questions in one notebook, and I leave the notebook that has all the answers that we got the last time at home. And I come home and I look and I go, oh, crap, we got the same answers again.
On EVP or on a spirit box?
We didn't have a spirit box back then. It was me with my dowsing rods.
Oh, with the dowsing rods. Okay, yep. Cool.
And now I don't even really use the dowsing rods because I know what they're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of like I could feel like I'm holding them in my hands, and I know what the answer is going to be. It's very strange. I guess you just get so in tune with your rods that it ends up being that way. But so, like I said, Salmic Pike, I'm a volunteer there. Villisca, we're on a first name basis with Johnny and Martha. And we got to be one of the last people to meet Darwin before he died. So we're on a first-name basis there. Well, the last place we saw was the Sally House.
Like I said, when I first saw your bio, and I was like, oh my God, I remember that episode from Ghost Adventures. Denise here was on Ghost Adventures for the Sally House. And when I was a kid, there was a show called Sightings. And on Sightings, one of the episodes that imprinted on my brain, there's a number of them from that great show, was the Sally House. With the guy was getting, this is the one where the guy is getting scratched, right, by the little girl that lived there. And I, as a kid, that just moved. It took my imagination to a crazy place, like, wow, a ghost can actually do that, like scratch people and stuff, So I've always been fascinated by the Sally House. And when you told me that, you're a volunteer there, right?
Yes, I'm a volunteer there. We're probably there about 300 or more hours a year.
Wow.
So we're
like
probably there more
miles
than
from you.
Yeah, we drive 100 miles up there every weekend during haunted season, which starts the weekend after, well, it actually starts Labor Day weekend with trolley tours, which those trolley tours started way back when in 1998. So right after the big hoo-ha with sightings and haunting and all those other shows had been out there, they decided it was time to start a haunted trolley. So that was the very first thing they did. And we went out there back in 2011. But, I lived in Kansas City, Missouri, and, internet really wasn't around. I mean, you had the internet, you had money back then. Or you were stupid and you were paying way too much for it.
Right.
But we didn't even have a computer.
Speed back then, too, or super slow.
Oh,
look, I got the internet.
Well,
you'll get my email in 2 hours.
Yeah, for me, I worked for Sprint, so I could, I was an admin. I had tons of time on my hands. I could research anything I wanted all day long as long as I got my work done. So I had a T1 line, so I could do whatever I wanted, find anything I needed. So I would research it and go, well, that's, it's 100 miles from Kansas City, Missouri, from where I lived in Kansas City, Missouri. It's from Kansas City, Missouri, the airport. It's not too far, but from where I lived, it was quite a ways. And I was like, I'm not going to get anybody to go up there with me. And my kids were little, and you understand that.
Yep,
they were little,
totally.
and so we didn't go. So basically, back in 2011, I told my husband, I said, you know what? I want to go up to Atchison. And we went up, and we did a trolley tour. I had the book Haunted Atchison, and I was writing down all the addresses. I was all excited. I'm going to find out where these places are. I'm going to know where they are. I still don't know where they are. I can point to them when I'm doing the trolley tour because I now do the trolley tour. Not all the time. I do a coach tour, but it's the same tour as on the trolley. And I only have to do it twice a year, so I'm lucky. And so we went on the tour. We loved it and said, okay, now we got to come back and do the Sally House sometime. And so a couple weeks, that was in July. So when September came around, I said, the Sally House is open. We got to go. And so my husband and I and our 2 daughters, we decided we were going to go up there. We went up there, and we had a vortex show up on the bed while we were standing there. And I should have sent you that picture, but it looks like a cobra on the bed in the front bedroom up there. And it was just really amazing. And I'm sitting there going, eating up this story about a little girl who died from a botched appendectomy, because I didn't do any research at the time. Yeah. All I did was I'd heard, oh, well, here's what the chamber says. The chamber says it was that this little girl died from a botched appendectomy, and the doctor was a nut job or a drunkard or whatever. Made the doctor look like an idiot.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember they kind of did that a little bit in the episode of Sightings, if I remember right, too, didn't they?
Yeah, and then there was another one. There was another urban legend about the movie, or about it, and they did a movie about it, and it was Beau Bridges' movie, and it was called The Heartland Ghost.
I've heard that title. I didn't know it was about that. Wow.
Yeah, the Sightings, it's based on some of the stuff that Sightings did. They used some of that information, but they used some creative privileges.
Of course.
And they said it was a doctor that his wife had an affair with a slave and had a baby, and it was obviously not his, and he threw it out in the snow and let it die. Okay, as you can see, I have my cat here.
No problem.
She's decided she's wants to be on me.
Of course.
This cat never does this. But so they say that this is what happened. Well, first of all, he's a doctor, and he wouldn't do that. And second of all, Kansas is not a slave state. They allowed slaves in Atchison. It was founded by David Atchison, who wanted it to be a slave state, and they allowed slaves up there until they voted it out after 2 years. So it was really kind of interesting. Okay, we're done with this cat. And you know, she's got really sharp claws. Ow!
Ow, ow, ow. I know that feeling. She does not want to go.
Yeah. Ow. She's growling at me, too.
I hear it.
Yeah. Ow. Okay, go away. So now I'm bleeding.
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. She's now calmed down. So that's one of the weird stories, you know, that when people come to the Sally House, I have to tell them all these urban legends. And so that's one of them. And the other one is the one that came from a haunting. That there was a doctor that lived in a house, and he had an affair with his maid, or
right. It was like a maid or something, or
yeah, but she was a mixed. She was of a different race, and ended up having a child of mixed race. And then she died from the little girl got sick, and she died upstairs in the bedroom from pneumonia.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind, because
I'm waiting. I can't wait.
We have no proof of any Sally. And I'm going to tell you, this is what I tell the people when they come on the tour. Use your logic and common sense. This man delivered half the babies in town from the time he became a doctor to 1910, when he was elected mayor. If he had killed my kid,
right,
I would have screamed it from the rooftops. So you had, in this house, supposedly, at the time that this happened, the doctor lived there with his wife. His sister and her husband lived there, and his mother lived there. Got 5 people in that house, plus this mother of this child. You would have had at least 5 witnesses there that would have said something happened here. Okay, so in 1910, he's elected mayor. That wouldn't have happened.
No.
If he had been that bad of a doctor, people would have said something.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't even have to scream it to the town. There's a town's rumors spread. You know, one person said something to another, and people would have spread it, and he would have never got elected.
And the funny thing about Atchison is back then, everything was in the paper. Everything. If somebody came to town and they were just in town for court, or they were in town because they were just visiting family, it was in the newspaper. So there's nothing that states that this ever happened. The doctor had an office, but it was at 5th and Commercial. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is in 1905, he moved into the house next door to the north that was built for him by his mother. So he didn't live in the house after 1905, but Agnes did, his sister. She lived there for 72 years. But the thing is what I see when I'm in the house, Agnes is there all the time. She's welcoming you. She's the one that makes you come in the house and go, I could live here. This is a great little 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house. Mm-hmm. I could live here. And later on, you've got a little boy who's there. Don't know where he came from. Have no clue where Paul came from. But he's between, 6 and 8 maybe. And he's a little African-American boy. Some people say he was a slave. The house was built in 67 to 71, people. There was no slaves.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of research you need to do in these kind of situations, to get down to some of the bottom of it.
Plus, the Civil War was over by the time this house was built.
Unless something happened on that property before the house was built.
Right, and the thing is one of the things that people don't realize is that when Atchison was founded, there were no Indian fights. Nobody was fighting for that land. Mm. Why? Why not there? I mean, we know Leavenworth was just down the road. It's 20 miles away. Why weren't the Indians fighting for this spot high on the bluffs of the Missouri River where you can look down the river, quite a long ways on both sides?
Probably because they're like, hey, white man, you can take that land.
Yep. We don't like that land.
Bad news.
Yeah. And there's reported to be, and I've witnessed this, there's a portal at this place, and it's not in the basement. It is from the basement through the entire house. So going from the basement probably to infinity.
Yeah.
Don't know, but we have strange things happen in this one column of the house that we can't explain. People saying that they're being touched, to their own spirits coming out and them feeling their own grandparents or their sister. Well, last week it was somebody's friend who had committed suicide.
So like anybody can come through this portal. Doesn't have to be right.
It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be good. It's just very strange, and it's hard to believe that there could be some place like this. So if Sally exists, which we've had Sally come through on the one of the ITC devices that we use, we've had it come through, but never to say my name is Sally. You
know what I say about that though, with these big famous hauntings like the Sally House and Amityville Horror, you know what a topa is? Mm-hmm. Well, this could be in its own way a topa. For people that don't know, is a thought form created. You know, not and if this place, now this place would already be haunted. I'm not saying that it created the haunting, but it forms the haunting. It takes what energy is already negative or bad there and forms it. The Sally, in a way, could exist because everybody thinks she exists there. You know, that's my crazy thoughts on it. But I've always wondered that about some of these really well-known haunted locations like this. Is that the books written and the shows and everybody, millions of people that are into this stuff, thinking about it and all thinking about this one location and thinking about a little girl ghost Sally. Well, maybe now there is because we're all thinking there is. Right. I know that messes with people's minds, but that's one of my theories on how this stuff kind of works sometimes.
Yep, all that juju going in there to make this thing exist. But I did find an obituary of a little girl that matches the drawing that Tony Pickman did of the little girl that he saw.
Right.
And her name is Bessie Howe, and she died from pneumonia.
Okay.
In 1887. And
in the house, though?
No, not in the house.
Not in the house, okay, that's what I say.
But again, if it's a portal, it drew her in, and she doesn't know how to get out. But there's other people I've had come up to me and say, how do you go up there? There's so many spirits everywhere. And I go, yeah, there is. And they go, no, I mean everywhere. I see them when I drive down the street. They're everywhere. But when we go by the Sally house, it's dark. It's so dark. How can you go in there? And so I get that a lot. And I don't know why, but Atchison is when they say that they're the most haunted town in Kansas, if not the Midwest. I believe them. It's very strange. But like I said, I tell people the story, because they want to hear that it's haunted because the doctor was a nut job. But I will tell you, there are some fun things about the doctor. The doctor used to ice skate before he got married. He used to ice skate under the name of Ms. Colby from Baltimore.
Oh, God.
So needless to say, Atchison had its very own Caitlyn Jenner before Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, my God. Seriously?
Seriously.
Wow. So, he used to do, a show, a show as a skater, as a woman.
Yes. He used to go out and...
No judgment on him.
And he would just go out there and compete. And he was told after a while that he wasn't... It was open to everyone except for Charles Finney. He was not allowed to skate.
But wait, this is the same. Oh, wait, this is not the same guy that got elected mayor, though.
Yes, it is. Same guy.
It is. Wow.
This was before he was a doctor.
Wow. Well, that rumor didn't get to that town.
Yeah, it was really kind of strange. Oh, no, it did, because it was in the paper. It was in the paper.
Wow.
He wasn't allowed to. I mean, I've got some newspaper articles about this. In fact, Skater Blog last year did an article on the curious case of Charles Finney, and it talks about the fact that he was skating under this name. But the funny thing is if you guys remember back to the beginning, I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I'm drawn there, and is this why? Because we have a connection? I don't know. And then the next thing that's really funny is that he did get kicked out of being mayor. It was a really funny reason too. In 1913 he was caught giving alcohol to the Eagles Club. So, yeah, he made some bad decisions.
Yeah,
but this doesn't make him a bad guy.
That's kids, right?
No, the Eagles Club is like a moose hall.
Oh, okay. And this is during Prohibition?
Yeah, probably really close.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of funny. That's why he got kicked out of being mayor.
Sounds like a real big kind of character.
Yeah, he was kind of interesting as far as that goes. But it always makes me laugh when I tell people that. And in his obituary, it says that he was part of the anti-horse thief club, too.
So
And-
like the neighborhood watch, but for
Yeah.
stopping horses from being stolen.
Yeah, because way back when Atchison was first founded, his father was actually the outfitter that when everybody, and the wharf master, so when people came across the Missouri River into Atchison, they had to check in with him. Well, he was also the guy that was selling them wagons and horses and all this other stuff so that they could go west. So his family was well known for this stuff, so he was part of the Anti-Horse Thief Club. And I just thought that was really funny. But it's actually in his obituary, which is like a 8 by 10 page long of stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, he was a very important guy in
Sounds
well,
like
his whole family was.
he sounded like with the ice skating thing, he was a bit ahead of his time.
Probably. But you know,
And more power for doing something like that back then. You got more power to him.
Yeah.
Now I remember it's been a while since I've seen the episode. I was going to watch it before the show when you were doing the Ghost Adventures show. Wasn't there something that you found, or something that was something satanic involved with that location?
Yeah, there was after the Pickmans moved out. It is rumored, and I have some pictures of this rumor. I don't know the person's name, or maybe I do, and I may not share it.
Okay, that's fine.
But somebody moved into the house after the Pickmans moved out, and they decided that they were going to do some black magic in the house. And there were pentagrams on the floor, which is the reason why, you know, the owner went in the house to do some work on the furnace, and he found it and he kicked her out. So there's this huge black spot on the floor in the basement. And why is it black? Because, well, he tried to paint over it without realizing that it was chalk. Because nobody ever makes their pentagrams usually permanent. That's one of the things one of our Wiccan friends told us. They try not to make them permanent because their spells
You want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of it.
Their spells change.
Yeah.
And, you may not always want something evil. So he painted over it. He didn't know. And when he noticed that it was chalk and it was mixing in, he stopped painting over it and washed off the rest. But so there's black paint on the floor. And it was rumored for years that it was, coal. It was rumored that it was a burn. It was rumored all kinds of things. And, Jeff Ballinger, when he did all the research for the Sally House before Ghost Adventures came, he actually gave me his research, is what he did, which I thought was really nice. And so I actually have a picture of a remake of that pentagram because when they redid the movie for Robbie Thomas back in 2008, did a movie, The Sally House. And when he did that movie, they had to remake that pentagram. Well, the owner said, I don't care if you remake the pentagram, but you can't use anything, you can remake it, but you have to make it to where it's not bringing in anything evil.
Right.
So they changed one word to make it to where it wasn't going to bring in anything evil. So that's what they did. And I don't know if you guys know Robbie Thomas, but Robbie Thomas has got a new show coming out soon, from what I understand.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got multiple books and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely heard of him. Don't know, not very familiar with his work, but I've heard of him. Yeah, and now I gotta go look that up. What was the name of the movie? Do you know?
It was Sally House.
Sally House.
Yeah, all you gotta do. Actually, I can send it to you. I have it on. I have it on one of my multiple Facebook pages.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Along with all the sightings and all the hauntings, everything related to the Sally House, I have in one place or another. I am obsessed. That's the one thing I will tell you. I am obsessed with the Sally House. I have to know it. Well, like I said, if I'm driving 100 miles up there and 100 miles back, I want to know. I don't want people coming in that house and going, is this where the botched appendectomy happened? And I'm sitting there going, no.
No, you want the truth. You want to know what really happened. You don't want to go off of myth and rumor and urban legend. You want to get down to the brass tacks. What really happened? That's how I am too. And I love this one. I was so excited. And I remember. Like when you were on Ghost Adventures, you brought up stuff that I'm like, I never knew this about the Sally House, and I remember seeing that. I'm like, this is really cool. I want to know more. And so when I found out, you knew Ross Raposo, you do a show on Paranormal Radio King Network. On what time? It's Monday nights.
Monday nights at 7 Central. My show is called The Paranormal Pride, and of course, now you know my last name, but I was trying to come up with something that was unique. And that was what I came up with. And basically, I interview people based on just the paranormal as far as spirits go. mainly because, like I said, I'm not really into UFOs and Bigfoot. Now, if Bigfoot and aliens show up in a haunted location, which I heard they do up in New Jersey, I will be really interested to see that happen. But at this point, I've never seen it, and that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just not interested right now.
But when I met you through Ross and that doing the shows on there, and for anybody who wants to check out Paranormal King Radio Network, there's a lot of great shows on there. Paranormal Pride, Paraversal Universe by my friends Kevin and Jennifer. They have a great show on Friday nights on there too. I love the network. If I do my video cast. I would love to be on there, but they don't have video casts. But it's a great network, and he's gonna be expanding, right? He's gonna be coming up with some new stuff, right?
Right. We've got some new shows that are going to be coming out. If I could remember how to say Steven's name, but Stephen O. His first name, his last name starts with an O and ends in an O, and it's not Ohio. And he's out of Florida, and he's got he does all kinds of stuff. He does ghost hunting full time, and stuff. It sounds like, and he seems like a really nice guy. That's going to be interesting. And we just got Carissa Fleck and Phil Siracusa, which is funny because I had them scheduled to interview, and Ross told me that I actually I grilled them because if I have data or a book to go off of, I'm going to have questions. I'm going to be
and Phil,
those questions came from the reading.
Phil's a hard one to interview because man, he just goes boom, 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 with he's got so much to tell, so he just goes. So, but I love their show too. I have the Paranormal Panel, and they also have a show on Blog Talk Radio too on Saturday nights. But
they're busy people.
They're very busy. If I didn't have my work life and stuff, I would probably keep myself that busy too. There's so much I'd love to do. But anyways, yeah.
Nobody's paying us for this.
But I would, when I found out you were the person on the Sally House episode, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to talk to her about this, to get the down low. You've been there, you've looked into the research, because I've seen the haunting episode. It didn't match up with the sightings episode. They all have like their different kind of takes and stories. I want to know what's going on, and I would be exactly like you. I'd want to look into it. I'd want to know what's going on. So I got to imagine the evidence that's come out of there has got to be crazy.
We have, like, one of the pictures I sent you is...
Here, I can go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull that stuff up now.
Okay.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm working on it right now.
One of the pictures that I sent you was of a face in the window. And the funny thing about this is that we had just locked up. It was our first time volunteering there. And I had just locked up the door to the house, and I had already gone through, and I went through everything. And I'm walking around the house taking pictures, because I'm so excited to be a volunteer. And I take this picture, and I'm going, oh my God, what is that in that picture? At first I thought it was a toy, and I didn't think anything of it. So I go back in the house, make sure that there's nobody in the house, and there's nothing in the windows. I knew which window that I had been pointing the camera at. And I go in there, there's nothing there. There's nobody in the house. And so we go and we leave. And I forget all about the picture until about a year and a half ago.
Wow, so it was a while afterwards.
Yeah, so this has been, I probably took the picture in 2012. And didn't even realize that there was anything in there until, I thought there was, but I figured it was a toy, then forgot all about it. But as you can see, you look at that picture, you can see a brow line that's very pronounced, and you can see that it's giving a shadow of some sort, like it's a real person. And like I said, you can't get in and out of that house without somebody seeing you. So it was really kind of strange. And so if you go down to that other picture of the gentleman that I sent you,
yep, hold on.
It's probably that last picture.
Add that down.
That right there. If you look at that brow line, that's Dr. Finney when he was 82 years old. A lot of people will tell me that it's him looking out that window.
Now, my friend Ricky just commented on my Skype line. He said, zoom in. The only problem I have with how I do my pictures on here is I can't zoom in. But they will be
up on my Facebook page.
Yep, I was just going to say, they're going to be up on Denise's Facebook page. You just look up Denise Pridemore, right?
Yep.
and you can look at it all you want there. The show is not the best to view pictures. I show them, but it doesn't come across the greatest through the signal. If you watch it on like a YouTube thing, especially if you're watching it on your phone of any kind, it's definitely not going to come across great. But it's a great picture. I want to do the comparison again, though. So here's a picture. Like I said, I can zoom in. Sorry, Ricky. And then we'll look at these pictures here in a second. And then there's that. And it is a very like similar brow line. And now, who is this in this picture again? This is
that is Dr. Charles Finney.
That is him. This is the pre-Bruce Jenner.
Yes. This picture is actually, I cropped him out. His wife is in the picture with him, and some neighbor boy. Boy, somebody's having a good time.
That you,
You
Judy?
definitely see the resemblance, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's Sunday football, isn't it, Judy?
Oh, yep. Always
She's got her husband in the background. But yeah, you definitely see the brow line. It's incredible. I'm gonna go back up again. Sorry, I love evidence.
I didn't get that picture until after Ghost Adventures was there. The picture of Dr. Finney. And so we didn't have that to present to them as evidence back then.
Yeah.
And because my friend Liz Lane, who's actually in the graveyard, and she's saying, he'll never go back in there. I know everybody will remember that when they're talking about Tony. He'll never go back in there. Yeah. That was her, and she's the one who gave me the picture. And so I was so excited about that. So
I got to ask, what was Zach Baggins and the crew like?
Actually, they were very nice to me. My husband and my daughter were out in the graveyard with them as well. And, the take of Larry doing the talk over saying, he's the one that goes, Sally's house. That was one take. Larry did such a great job. But the walking around in the graveyard, that was actually like 5 takes because they needed footage. I mean, actually of their feet. Which was kind of strange. And so when I say footage, I mean actual footage.
Yeah, I know.
So it was kind of funny. But, yeah, there was no drama or anything with us. We had a great time.
I pick on, I call him douchebaggins because it's easy to do. He puts himself in the spotlight. But you know what? Everybody, I've heard different people that have met him and said he's a real nice guy. Generally a really nice guy. So, and you know what? I enjoy watching the show. Because they get some great evidence. Now, I'm always suspect because it's a production. But I love the fact that at least they don't have a production crew with them most of the time.
No, not really. But what was really surprising was, there's Aaron and Jay and Billy and Zach. And the first thing out of our mouths was, where's Nick? Well, nobody knew at this point that Nick wasn't coming back.
That was during that time period, yeah.
And so nobody knew that at that point. And what was funny is I'd had a dream years ago that Nick wouldn't be there.
I know that feeling. I have dreams like 2 to 3 years, and then before some stuff happens, or sometimes just a year. And like I had Steve Huff on my show. I swear to God, before I knew who Steve Huff was, I had a dream about this bald guy being on my show and being real nervous about it, and a year or so. And that's before I ever knew about doing a show. I didn't even have plans on doing a show. And I just remember in this dream I'm doing this show, and I'm on a video, and I'm with this bald guy. It's made me really nervous to have him on. And a year later, it all comes to me, like, this is weird. So I know that feeling.
Yeah, it is strange. And the thing is I had told them that in my dream, two men got scratched. I just assumed it was Zach and Aaron.
Yeah.
And that's why I told him it was, two people are gonna get scratched while you're here. What happened? 2 people got scratched.
Yeah.
But that's why Zach says out loud, says to everybody, I didn't get scratched. Because at the time, like I said, I told him, I said, I think it's you and Aaron that get scratched. I said, but I'm not sure. But back then.
But hey, 2 people got scratched. You dreamed 2 people got scratched and 2 people got scratched. That's pretty significant. I don't, even if you didn't know which ones.
Yeah, and so that was kind of amazing. But what was really strange was while we were on the front porch, you guys didn't see this footage. We were out on the front porch, and Zach had started to interview me and there was a lot of road noise. And so he was yelling out at all the people that were with the production crew. And when I say all the people, there was probably about 15 other people from the Travel Channel. There are production assistants and runners and gophers and all. There's a bunch of people outside. And, you know, so Zach was kind of getting a little irritated with all the traffic and the noise. So he stopped. He tells Jay and Aaron to stop taping. And so that the gear that they're holding is really heavy, so they put it down. Well, while he's out there yelling about the traffic and stuff, my husband and daughter are across the street at the Glick mansion. Okay, that's funny, isn't it? To have a mansion across the street from this little 3-bedroom house. And all the lights in the house go off and come back on.
Whoa.
They had the house lit up like a Christmas tree.
When
all the lights went off, if they had been taping and talking to me at that time, they would have caught the windows in the downstairs going off and on. So they would have caught it if they had been taping, but they weren't. And because they didn't have any cameras set up over at the Glick Mansion watching the house, they missed it. You know how they usually have a static camera, an X camera somewhere?
Yeah.
Looking at the house. They didn't do it there.
I'm sure that pissed Zach off.
When we told him, yeah.
I'm sure.
It was very, very frustrating for them. Thank you.
I've heard a lot of these guys that, you know, they do this, like Zach and Aaron, and they go out and they did start doing this stuff on their own, like just the three of them, and or I had some other people with them at times too. And then they get on the show and they don't realize they're going to have all these other people like involved and all this whole production team. I know somebody's friend, has talked to the guys from Chicago, the Chicago Cops one, the Chicago Paranormal Detectives.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Yeah, me too, because they were so methodical. Thank you. They would tape the doors. They would do all that stuff, but they hated it. They hated the production crew. Not that they hated them personally. They just hated them there because they would try to these are the same people that worked with Ghost Hunters, the same kind of production, the same production crew, and they would want to walk in before them and stuff. To tape them coming in, they're like, no, we don't want you going in before us. You're going to contaminate the scene. They were very professional, and so it was really hard. And I don't know. I love doing my show and talking about paranormal, and I'd love to do my show live and make money off of this. But I don't know if I'd ever want to be on a paranormal show. My investigations being on TV, I would never really want that because it would, to me, just interfere. It would just interfere so dang much with trying to actually get good evidence.
Everybody wants to prove that you're fake.
Yeah, that too.
And that's the part that really gets me. I had, there were some friends of mine that were not happy that I was on there and that I was telling them what I was telling them. And it's like, I'm going to tell the truth. Yeah. No matter what, I'm going to tell the truth. And one of the things that got me about all this was the jealousy of that 15 minutes of fame and how it's supposed to change you. No, it didn't change me. I've always been like this. I'm never going to change. I'm going to be a bitch if I'm going to be a bitch, and I'm going to be happy if I'm going to be happy. And
sarcasm's your first language, remember.
That's right. So it's going to be this way. And if you don't like it, leave me. You don't have to be my friend. And
I see that all the time. We talk about Carissa Fleck on here. She's gotten pretty popular pretty fast, and is taking a lot of flack and a lot of criticism, and it hurts her. She's generally a really nice person. Yep. And I don't think any of this is going to her head at all. She just loves doing this, and just like you do. And it's awful that people, I think it is jealousy.
Sad.
It is sad. I want to be happy for people when they get to do things like this. I'll be the first to admit that I'm jealous. I'm jealous of all the guests that Carissa gets. She gets some great guests, but I'm happy for her. I think it's awesome that she's getting what she's doing. The
good news is she's doing all this work for us in advance, to where we can maybe find these people and get them to come on our shows. Will you stop? So that's one of the things that I like about listening to other people's shows.
Me too.
Because sometimes, we're going to ask different questions. Like, you're asking me totally different questions than Alex Matsuo did a few weeks ago when I was on her show. And I was supposed to be on another show a couple Sunday nights ago, and Blog Talk went down. Who knew? And actually, there was a show before that I was supposed to be on. They kept saying it was the curse of Sally that was keeping me from talking. And it's like, oh no, it's not keeping me from talking. There's nobody's listening except my husband, and he's just getting mad because he's tired of hearing me talk about the Sally house, even though he's there with me all the time. And one of the weird things that we have happen another thing from the Ghost Adventures that didn't make tape. This is going to sound really strange. That it didn't make tape was I had taken the guys upstairs to the master bedroom, and Zach walks into the master bedroom, and he's standing there, and he's reading this card that they have on the wall that talks about Tony had gone in the house to do an investigation, and he was actually lifted up and almost thrown over the railing. Okay, this railing upstairs is only maybe hip high.
Yeah.
So not actually regulation now.
Right.
So he felt like he was being pushed over this railing, and people actually witnessed him actually being picked up and almost tossed over this railing. And so Zach's reading this thing, and I know that when you're up in this area, there's high EMF. It's extremely high. Don't know why, but it's really high. And because I've checked out everything, we've had electricians come in and all that stuff. So I'm standing there next to Zach, and he gets Aaron to come and film him, and he's got Jay filming me, and I ended up having to lean up against the wall. So me knowing that there's high EMF there, I'm usually used to it because I'm there.
Right.
You know, you get to the point where nope. I had to lean up against the wall, and Zach's going, "You okay?" Because I kind of got that look like I was getting dizzy.
Yeah.
And so Jay's taping me. Zach's over there getting dizzy too. Of course, he's got on 4-inch heels. He's probably a little high, and and with me being 5'4", he didn't need those heels. He was going to look tall anyway.
Right.
So he goes into the room a little bit further and says, "I got to sit down." And that's when Aaron says, "I need to sit down." And Jay's already walked by me and says, he's already stopped taping. He's sitting down. They're all nauseous. They can't go on. They decided this is when they're going to stop the interview because they were all so nauseous.
And high EMF will do that to even the people that aren't that sensitive to it. It's still going to make you feel that way.
And so that was one of the things that should have made it, but that was only on the walkthrough. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times on the walkthrough they'll present that, but then they won't on others. Yeah. So that was kind of weird that they didn't, because I thought for sure, hey, this is really good. But when we were in the basement, when I said I don't like to go down there, I don't. I rarely go down in the basement. And
you talked about the pentagram that was down there, and he blacked over it with paint. Do you think there's any chance that whoever was practicing down there, opened something up, and then by painting over it with that black and not erasing it, erasing the chalk, he almost set it in permanent? Like it's like permanently open because of that.
I don't know.
It seems like the whole property is like, probably bad news. The Indians thought so, probably.
Well, like I said, that's the whole town.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just different places in town. I would say when it comes to Atchison, I could probably point at any house and tell you which one's haunted. The Sally house is 2 blocks away from the Amelia Earhart house.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
that's how close it is. And her house overlooked the river there, and it's a beautiful house. The house next door to it's for sale.
Have you been inside the Amelia Earhart house?
No. I was just telling my husband this on Saturday. I said, I really want to go to the Amelia Earhart house.
I would.
He goes, "Why wouldn't you want to go there?" And I was like,
right.
I know. I said, but the thing is when we're up there, we're working.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for me to find the time to go check out this place or that place. And we make special trips up there, like I was telling you before.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about residentials. Well, we have made special trips up there just to do residential cases for people because
obviously
they meet us and they want us. Yeah, they meet us and they want us to come up there. And I have seen, stuff that'll make you believe. Anyway, my husband is a skeptic, and he's now a skeptical believer. He still thinks that there's a reason for some things, and me, I don't believe everything's paranormal either.
And you shouldn't.
No, but there are people out there that it's paranormal first, second, and third.
Yeah, I know.
And so you prove to them that there's a dead squirrel in the attic, and that's what's been scratching.
And belonging to the multiple Facebook paranormal pages, I see that with people all the time. And, there's a love for the paranormal, and I think people get caught in that, and they want to just just believe everything. And we have to be, as responsible representatives, try to help them see the light. That not everything's paranormal. You got to look for the logical reasons, and you also got to look for the history. And that's what I love. What with the Sally House, your approach to that you went to find what is the real history. Like, let's just throw everything out and let's just really get down to what really is going on. You still don't know what's going on.
No, but that's what I tell people. It doesn't matter anymore about the history. The past is the past.
Yeah.
It's what we do know for a fact is that Deborah and Tony Pickman wrote down all their experiences.
Yep.
And they put it in a book and they shared it. And so far, when I went up there the first time, I had read the book. My kids had gotten it for me for Christmas. Yeah, great Christmas gift. Along with
my kind of Christmas gift.
Well, they got me that, a recorder, and a point-and-shoot temperature gauge.
Great gift.
My husband also got me a recorder that year, and my daughter also got us a ghost meter. Okay, so that tells you what my Christmas gifts were like. And so when we went up there, I'd already read the Sally House book, and I'm looking to find a way to explain all this stuff, even though it was, I'd pretty much eaten up the story of the botched appendectomy or the sighting, or not the sighting story, but the a haunting story.
Yeah.
I actually believed the haunting story until I got to the house and I go, this ain't the same house. Do you know how many times I have people tell me this isn't the same house that was on Paranormal Witness?
Oh God.
This isn't the same house that was on a haunting. And I was like, really? It's not? I had no clue.
I'm not a big fan of Paranormal Witness. I don't like that show very much, the way they do things.
Yeah, they don't allow a lot of real facts.
Right. I can tell from the presentation they don't.
Yeah, and so last week, Paranormal Witness was on, and it was the Sally House, and this is back when they said, this was just 2 years ago, they said it was a harpy. And I was like, what in the hell?
Where'd that come from?
I have no clue. But that's what Paranormal Witness said that it was. It was a harpy. And I'm like, no. Whatever it was hasn't made itself known again. Whatever it was that was messing with Tony, and whatever it looked like has never made itself known again.
Well, whatever it was, like you said, it's been a portal for a lot of different people. That other people you said people have had experiences with other relatives or stuff that doesn't belong to the house in that house. So who's to say this was something that was connected to him in some way he never knew about in the spiritual way, and he goes in his house as an open portal, and it's going after him because now it's got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what goes on the other side and the connections we have and stuff, past lives and all kinds of things. If this is a portal, like you think it could be, it's gone because he's not there.
Yeah.
And now it's what it is for whoever's there. It's going to be what it is.
Yep. But the thing is there is something there that's doing damage. I mean, doing a lot of damage.
Well, let's look at, we got your other pictures still, too.
Yeah.
Now, are these all from the Sally House?
Yes. Well, except for one.
Okay. Well, you see this one?
That right there is just an unusual picture. If you see at the bottom, you can see that the lights are on in the downstairs. Mm-hmm. You can see the closet door that's open upstairs, and just this big, huge orb in there. The thing is I saw it when I took the picture. That's why I took the picture, is because I saw this light in that room. And as you can see, there's no lights on in there. We had actually been in there earlier that day and before they were doing gallery readings in the basement downstairs. And
yeah, because I would take it you're not an orb person.
I'm
in
not
general. No.
No, if doesn't have its own light, I'm not going to go with it. Because if you look in this picture in other places, there's other orbs in this picture, but none of those all those are dust or water. This one is the one that makes me go, that's creepy. What is that?
Because you saw a light with your own eyes.
Yeah, we saw it with our own eyes, and it wasn't just me that saw it. My daughter saw it too, and it was like, okay, I gotta take a picture. And like I said, you see this house, you can see that it's not a very big house.
No.
And so there was nobody upstairs, because we had walked around the entire house taking pictures that night. We shouldn't have. We should have been nice to the people that were having their gallery readings and not having flashes go off. But it was, we were still in awe of the fact that, hey, we're at the Sally House and stuff. But that's just a really neat picture. If it's something, great. If it's nothing, great. It's still a neat picture.
Yeah. Because when I talked to you before, you're like, yeah, it's dust, stuff, these orbs and that. And then I'm like, well, you sent me a picture of an orb. And I wondered if it was something you saw with your own eyes, and that's why you took your picture.
Yeah. And so it's really neat. In this next picture, we did an overnight there. And you can see I have on multiple shirts. I got a purple one and a black one. Mm-hmm. And I told my husband, I said, something's wrong. We got to check. There's something's not right. And so we have a bunch of people in the house. This is on January 24th of this year. 1 week after the episode aired, we had an overnight. And we were asked to come up there, and I got scratched in the middle of my back. And I can't reach back there.
No, this is like right down the middle of your back and then went over to the side here, too.
And yes, I do have nails. I have really long nails, but I still can't reach that far. And so, like my husband said, he goes, how did it get through your 3 shirts? He goes, that's what I was
going to say.
Because you can see 2 there, and I actually had a jacket on, too, because we didn't have the heat on, because it causes the EMF to go through the roof.
Now, did you, I always ask this about these kind of scratches, did you realize it right away, like, oh my God, I got this burning sensation kind of deal? It was burning?
Yep, it was like, my husband goes, what's that stupid look on your face? So I knew right away something was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong. What's that stupid look on your face? Yeah. Because it's this look. I'll make it. It's like, wow. Like I said, it's pretty stupid. And so that was the first time I got scratched. So then on April 3rd.
This next one.
This next one. That was the same night. I got a bruise.
I see the bruise.
The next morning I got up and that bruise was there on the inside of my arm, which is common. I mean, for me at the Sally house, every week I leave with a bruise. Knock on wood, not this week. I did not get one this week.
Next time.
Yeah, next time I'll probably be worse.
It looks like you can see like a thumbprint, like almost like somebody jabbed their thumb into your arm, like they're grabbing your arm.
Yeah, and what I feel like it is that there's something that's holding me there that wants me to make sure that I tell the story, that I tell the right story, not the story that makes the doctor look like an idiot.
Well, like that, and like I said, the energy of thought. I really believe in this, that our ideas and thoughts can mess with things, and that this could be really messing with this house. Is this how much popularity this house has had over the years, and the book, and the everybody putting their own ideas of what they think it is and shaping it, and that whatever the core of what's going on there wants the truth to be known.
This sounds like an episode of Supernatural.
My son's name's Dean, so if that tells you how much of a fan of the show I am, and you're in Kansas.
Oh yeah, because I mean, it was Lawrence, Kansas is where they were from. That's not far from here. Yep. But the next picture is one of an orb as well. But this is very interesting. This is down on the Missouri River. The windows are up on the 2nd floor. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. There's no traffic outside. The bridge is way too far away for there to be any lights, and I'm sitting there. As you can see, I have my compass and I have my recorder and I got all my crap sitting out there. And they're doing renovations in this place. And it's called the River. It was called the River House at one time. And it turned into the Pepper Mill. It's up for sale again now. And I said, "Are you behind me?" And when I said that, our friend Joe took a picture, and that's what he got.
That's interesting.
So if I hadn't said that, I would have just said, "Oh, it's just an orb, not a big deal."
Right. And then I've talked about this on the show too. I have my friend Katrina Cooper, a medium. She talks about if I say it's there and I take a picture and I point to it and an orb shows up there's something to it. Yeah, or an anomaly. This doesn't even look like your normal dust orb, anyways. No, it's more blurry than that.
The thing is that the spirit there, her name is Lulu, and she was the madam of the brothel that was running. I was just going to say,
it's not like it's got to be a brothel.
Okay, but the thing is my first name is Lula.
Oh, so maybe she connected to you.
Right, they don't know for sure if her nickname was Lulu or Lula. And so every time we showed up there, we had something happen. Every time.
All right, and then the last picture was that guy again. That was
Dr. Finney.
Dr. Finney, the ice skater.
Yep.
The pre-Bruce Jenner.
Yes.
I really would love them. The guy was so ahead of his time.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I don't think that like I said, I can't see him as being
evil.
The doctor that would have killed this little girl, or that would have been drunk and however it made him look in the Robbie Thomas story.
Yeah.
that he did. No, we're not doing this again, Kaylin.
The cat strikes again.
Yes, she's already tore me up, and here she comes again. Like I said, she never does this.
She's like, what are you doing?
It's like, what's going on? Why does she have to do this? So like I said, I don't have a lot of evidence. Most of my stuff is stuff I felt, and I can't really show you that. But what I can tell you is that I research the places that we go to after we go. I don't want to research them before. Because
no, I think that's great.
Right, because I'm going to have this feeling, like when I read the Sally House book before we went, like I said, I believed it. And the people that were doing the tour were telling us, this is where the surgery happened. It was right here in this living room. And then, this is this and this is that. It's like, okay, well then explain to me why it feels like there's a cat rubbing up against my leg. Okay, this is at the Sally House. And if you read the book, right after they moved in, the Pickmans moved in, Tony heard this sound downstairs. It sounded like shoes in the dryer. Boom, boom, boom. And he thought Deborah had put tennis shoes in the dryer, and somehow, some way, their cat was in there, and it died.
Oh my God! Oh, yeah. That is dark. That is awful. Oh my God! Yeah, I never knew about that. I've never read the book. Now I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna read that book, you need to read the companion book that's just as good. Yeah. And it's called Sally House: Exposing the Beast Within by Joe Sertone.
I got to read that.
You need to get Joe Sertone on your show because he will match up to a lot of the things that I said. Well, you walk into the Sally House, you feel welcomed, and then you're going, "Oh my God, I got to get out of here."
Put a good word out there for me because I definitely would love it.
He'll interview with you. As long as you play Iron Maiden or something like that, he's happy.
Yeah, they're copyrighted. I don't want to.
Well, actually, he has his own band, and he will send you his own music.
Oh, I will be happy to play his own music on my show.
He has this crazy. He sent it to me. It was a crazy drum solo, but he's part of a Dio tribute band as well.
Oh, awesome!
But again, Joe Sertone is a really good guy. I really like him. He wants to do a documentary on Atchison, Kansas, but he says he's not going to Sally House ever again.
Wow! So he's done with that.
He's done with it. He said that. That pretty much that house ruined his life. So, but that's a really good book for you to look for. And he also did another book called, I'm advertising for everybody else.
We're going to get you in. We got to talk about your stuff more too.
Yeah. Another book he did was Seduced. And it talks about I'm not going to tell you what it talks about because then we'll be talking about it all night. Right. But it's a really good book and it will open up a lot of doors to things that you're going, oh my God, how is this guy alive? So, but I really, it's just real, the Sally House part of it though, Leah.
What the foot?
my 16-year-old. See, it doesn't get any better.
I said you could have your camera on, you could have it off. It's up to you. Here,
you want to see her? There.
She'll put her foot on, but she won't be seen, right?
Right. And so, but yeah, she ran that time. But the thing about Joe's book is that it matches up so well with the things that I know about the house. And he was my second or third interview on my show because your show and my show is about the same age.
Oh, so you started about 5 months ago?
I started in April.
Yep, about the same time. Mm-hmm. So what decided, like, I'm going to start doing a show? Because that's the kind of nothing I was a big Art Bell fan. And
not me. I don't even know who Art Bell is.
Well, he's been doing it longer than anybody when it comes to
that's what I heard.
Shows. And I've been a big fan of his for years, but I was a listener. Never thought I'd be up here, doing my own show, and this one day I did a podcast on my EVPs I caught, and I thought, man, I really like doing this.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find a way to reach out and meet people. I don't get to travel a lot, and so this is my way of doing it. So I don't know if that's what you got you decided to start doing a show, even though you do travel a lot.
No, Ross. He asked me.
Of course.
Yeah, Ross Raposo. He let's see. First, there was Kat Hobson. She had a show, and my friend Rick Rose was on there, and he was talking about our investigation on April 3rd. And the thing is that he was going in there and that he wanted us to go in with him. Okay. And mostly because I had been on Ghost Adventures. You know, a lot of people have recognized me from that. As long as I have my glasses on, they recognize me with my glasses. But I don't wear my glasses most of the time. But for that, I did. And so he goes, hey, I want you guys to come out and do this. Well, while we were doing this Ustream thing, we were before we started, we were out on the back deck at the Sally house, and I got scratched. Made that stupid face. And my husband goes, what's wrong? And I go, I think I just got scratched again. I said, it's really burning. It feels really weird. So he lifts up my shirt. And again, I had on at least 3 shirts. And he lifts it up and he goes, oh, crap. And they take a picture. And it's like, we haven't even started yet. And Denise is getting scratched. And then, so that was about 5 o'clock. Around 10 o'clock that night, I got scratched again while we were live on camera. And so we were talking about the investigation and how it went and everything. And if you guys want to see what these videos have turned out to be, Paranormal Warnings on YouTube has these videos. They were done by Rick Rose. We just happened to be there. And but I happened to be there enough to get hurt. And
Paranormal Warnings, I got to remember that.
Yeah, Paranormal Warnings. And we had a really good time, and it was a really interesting night. But he was asking he was being asked all these questions about the Sally house, and of course he didn't know the history part or anything. So I'm in chat typing away as fast as I can, trying to answer all these questions, because he's going, I don't know, you'll have to ask Denise. I don't know, you'll have to ask Denise. And then he'd talk about the stuff he knows, and then there'd be all these questions coming through chat to me. And so it got to be really interesting. Well, then Ross goes, I think I need to interview you. So he sends me a thing and asks if I'll be his interview. And I said, sure, why not? And when he talked to me, he said, how would you like to have a show on Monday nights or Wednesday nights? I said, Monday nights would do okay. I said, well, how about 7? And he goes, okay. And I was like, okay, that's it. I never knew anything about doing any of this. Public speaking, I mean, I can talk to anybody. I can talk to this wall all night.
I do this because I don't want to drive my wife nuts or the people I work with nuts. I need an outlet to talk about the paranormal. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to do.
I see my husband doing videos soon on bourbon and on spirits himself, because we really, like I said before, we do these trips that are spirits and
not the spirits in the paranormal world. We're talking about drinking here, people.
Yeah, we like to go to haunted distilleries.
You know what?
Something, I get something.
Biltmore.
Yes.
Biltmore Mansion. We went there for our honeymoon, and I swear, before we went to the winery, which we had a lot of fun at.
You were seeing spirits after that.
Yeah, we would have, but we were seeing them before the winery. We were walking up there's a staircase, like a spiral staircase. You go up to another floor, and we heard a flick of a lighter. Mm-hmm. And my wife turns around thinking I'm lighting up a cigarette. I was a 4 packs a day smoker. Now I got a vapor cigarette. Mm-hmm. I haven't smoked in 3 years, like real cigarette. But she turns around thinking I'm smoking in this, huge, beautiful mansion, smoking. She turns around ready to slap me. And I was like, what was that? And we start smelling cigar smoke, and it's in a narrow, thing. There's nobody there. So that was our first clue that, wow, something's going on here. And it's a busy place. There's people all over. And another person there smelled it. They're like, there's cigar smoke, but we couldn't see anybody. They'd have to be floating outside the window, the staircase. We saw a lady in the bathtub when we walked in there. Now, I have a sensitivity. The Biltmore Mansion.
Which Biltmore?
The North Carolina, Asheville.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I've been to.
Yeah, there's a bathtub in there, and we walked in, and my wife caught me in this transfixed stare at the bathtub, and the reason was because I was focused in, and I have these moments. I'm not a psychic, but I have these moments sometimes where I might be, and I was seeing a translucent image of first it started I could oh my god, it looks like there's a energy in the bathtub, and then I could see a woman in the bathtub. So that's one place, if I ever could investigate, I wish I could, because I had 2 really major experiences around a ton of other people. And maybe it's just my senses then, but I don't know. I'd love to go to that place. Would you be open?
I went there a long time ago. Yeah. I went there when I was 17, and I stood in the fireplace, and I put my arms up, and I still couldn't touch the top of it.
Oh, I know. The place is so beautiful.
My ex-husband's best friend's mother was the manager there back then. And that's how I got in there. So if you know me then, we probably could have investigated.
Yeah, I was going to say, oh my God, that's like one of my dream places. If somebody gets to do an investigation there, man, I will watch. I will see if they do it on a show or anything.
Yeah, the history of that place is just amazing.
I know.
I mean, just hearing about how it was built.
I know. Would you be interested if anybody wants to call in, taking a couple callers? If
sure,
anybody
why not?
All right. So anybody on the Skype line in the last 20 minutes, if anybody wants to call in, ask her any questions about the Sally House, the McPike Mansion, the, how do you say the name of the ex-murderer's location? Villisca. I'm a butcher of names. Or anything paranormal related to her or me or whatever, you can call on in now. We're going to keep talking, but I got my Skype line open, so you can call in. And you got a couple of people commented. I want to say Tyler out there said, you're very informative, is very enjoying the show. And Jamie also said she's loving the show and loved the information on the Sally House. So thank you guys. That's my Q&A, people. You can use the Q&A. I don't have a chat room, but you can always jump on the Q&A and send me a question or just a comment.
And I also saw Rhodey said something about that she loved my first picture.
Oh, that must have came up on YouTube. See, I have trouble seeing my YouTube thing pop up. We lost Judy at some point. It might have been because of the stuff going on. Sometimes she's got her grandkids up late, and her husband's watching.
That there was something wrong. She was having a kid emergency.
Oh no! Uh-oh. Yeah, we were talking. I realized I missed her. Sorry, Judy. I hope everything's all right. But what is your? I mean, let's not count the Sally house out of it, because I know that's got to be your favorite place. But
there's others.
Right. So besides the Sally house, where's another place you think has been like your most like active?
Oh, let's see. Missouri State Pen.
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of stuff happen there. Actually had a man motion me to come down to death. I mean, we were on death row and motioned me to come down and around the corner. And this was just the last time we were there back in August. And they had cleaned it up because it had been shut down for mold and lead. And they had to clean all that up before they could let people back in. Because we were one of their last tours before they shut it down. It's a little bit different now. It doesn't seem to be as active, but to have a full body apparition come and say, come down here with me, come follow me.
That's awesome.
And I went down there and it took me right to this cell that used to have a swastika on the wall. And if you've never been there before, you're not going to know that. But there was multiple gang symbols in the prison. You know, and for a place that just closed down in 2004, it looks rough.
Oh yeah, and
especially right on the Missouri River.
I've always wanted to investigate a jail. I mean, I've done a jail. I've done Crown Point Jail, like old, the Dillinger escape from there. Mm-hmm. And that place is awesome. But I've always wanted to do like the huge, or prison or something like Moundsville. I've always wanted to do Moundsville State Prison. Have you been there?
No, not as an adult. My family's from Virginia and West Virginia.
Right.
And stuff. So we've been to a lot of places, but back then, most of these places were still open.
Yeah, it was still open back then.
So, but yeah, my favorite place that I haven't been in since, let's see, 1983. No, it's been before then. The Edgar Allan Poe House is my very favorite.
That's one of those places one day I will get to see. I have to see it. Yep.
You have to see it before it's never more.
Right? Exactly.
But they did try to tear it down.
Huh?
They did try to tear it down.
Oh God, that would be a crime. That would be a crime. How could you even consider doing something like that?
And then, like I said, we used to go out there. My mom actually, when she was younger, this was before I was born. So back in 1963, they dared her to stay at Edgar Allan Poe's grave, the original grave, not the second one. But the thing is back then she was terrified.
Oh yeah,
she goes, I did it. It did not happen. But Fells Point in Maryland is really scary by itself. Minus the spirits, it's scary. You've got the USS Constellation down there that is one of the most haunted ships in the world.
Yeah.
You've got Fells Point was there like in the 1400s. You had pirates and
I love all that.
Navy guys.
I haven't done
prostitutes. You name it, you had it all.
So many haunted ships I want to do, and I've never done a single one. I want to do a haunted ship sometime.
I was on the Constitution we used to go on field trips to these places. When we were growing up, one of the places that I saw spirits that people couldn't believe was that I was in the Capitol building in Washington D.C. and the Smithsonian in 6 different buildings in the Smithsonian. There are spirits everywhere. And, you know, when you're on a field trip with
that's weird.
all your favorite friends, you can't tell them.
Oh my God, that's weird, because I kind of had that experience too when I went in my junior high class. I felt that I was transfixed, like with like voices weren't the people around me. Like I was feeling things. I had weird feelings the whole time I was there. Now I can't say I saw anything, but when I was, you know, a teen, you know, junior high, a teenager. And yeah, I kind of had that feeling when I was in those buildings. And maybe I've always thought, well, maybe I was just overwhelmed by history, because I always loved history, and I you know, but I felt there was something more, you know.
Yeah.
When I was there.
There's a ton of stuff there. I mean, and I know they're attached to the objects. I mean, that's one of the things that you know. But some of it is attached to the land in Washington, D.C. There was so much fighting. You know, the original White House was burned to the ground. And they had to move it to Octagon Hall. That's where Dolly Madison ended up being, you know, the belle of the ball there. And and she actually saved a lot of the stuff.
What I love is have you heard of the Nixon stories? Oh yeah. You know, Nixon talking to the paintings of the dead presidents. Mm-hmm. You know, when he was all in his super stressed out Watergate period.
Well, you know, Watergate was big on the news when I was a baby.
I wasn't born, so
I know you weren't, but I was, and I remember hearing stories from some of the writers about how they thought he was going nuts. Yeah,
that he was talking to the dead presidents, like, what do I do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was, you know, the ghost of Lincoln, you know, people thought they've seen there. Nobody's ever going to get to investigate the White House, sadly. It's not going to happen. No. But man, imagine if you could.
Oh yeah, I would love to talk to Mr. Lincoln about his spiritualism, and when the piano floated and he was on it. But there is one thing that you need to know about Abraham Lincoln. It's related to all my stuff.
Oh, cool. I love Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. Well, way back when they had the Lincoln-Douglas debates, they were trying to get the Lincoln-Douglas debates to Alton, Illinois. Oh, Henry McPike, the owner of McPike Mansion, actually was instrumental in getting them to come to Alton and do all this. Well, during that time, there was supposed to be a duel between Douglas and Lincoln. Yes. And there is a statue that shows Lincoln with his arm up with a sword, just kind of playing with the tree, messing with and this is when Douglas realized, even before he'd get very far, and he would be dead, because Lincoln's reach was so long. And so, but they were supposed to have this duel out on Sunflower Island. Well, Sunflower Island is no longer there. It was in the middle of the Mississippi, and you weren't allowed to duel actually in Alton. You had to be in basically no man's land, which was Sunflower Island. It didn't belong to Missouri. It didn't belong to Illinois. So that was one of the stories that is related to the Lincoln-Douglas debates coming to Alton. The other thing is that when Abraham Lincoln won the second presidency, Henry McPike was with him, and so they were all at the hotel, and he found out that he won. And everybody goes hooping and hollering down to the street about how, ooh, we won. And he said, this is his own words, said that Lincoln put his head down and said, I have to go tell Mother. Because at this point in time, he had already had a premonition of his death.
Right. Yeah, no.
So like I said, to go along with McPike Mansion, that is some of the information that I have about that.
That's great.
I do have one thing that you might find really interesting.
No, I'm sure you got a lot of things I would find very interesting, but go right ahead.
The Sally House and the Villisca Axe Murder House have the same address.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
That is odd. Can you say the address on that?
Yeah, the Villisca Axe Murder House address is 508 2nd Street. I can't tell you the Sally House address, but I can tell you.
Whoops.
So that's what I can tell you, is that they have the same street address. Actually, we tell people that on the trolley.
Wow.
Actually, Johnny Hauser is the one who told us this, because he came and he investigated the Sally House with Tim Wood from Live Sci-Fi. Mm-hmm. And I had to get on to Johnny because he is actually using a Ouija board in the basement of the Sally House. And so I had to get.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it was. And the thing is that Johnny Hauser's favorite place to investigate is the Sally house.
If it wasn't so far from me, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Well, summertime's a good time to come. It's pretty easy to rent. It's only $100 a person, up to 4 people for 4 people. So you go, 4 people, $100 each. It's not too bad. You can sleep there, and it's also across the street from this really nice bed and breakfast. If you decided you just wanted to go over there and investigate.
You can sleep there?
Yeah, you can sleep there.
Oh, I would be so on that.
Yeah, it's got heat. It's got air. It's got water. It's got a deck. It's got a grill.
I grill out, hunt some ghosts.
Yeah, you got a refrigerator. So you got everything you need right there. And if you want to rent it out, it's atchisonkansas.net.
Atchison, Kansas.
Yeah, the owner has given over management to the Atchison Chamber of Commerce. So it ends up benefiting charity as well as the owner.
So you got that, and then the McPike Mansion has a charitable thing going on too, right? So to try to get it rebuilt.
Right. And the McPike Mansion, this coming weekend, let's see, on the 24th, they're having their annual fall camp out that we're going to be at. And if you want to go to that camp out, it's $35 a person, adults only, no alcohol, no drugs, but you get to spend the night at the mansion in a tent because the house is condemned. But you have a dark room session, fire, food, all kinds of stuff, and you'll be with 75 of your closest paranormal friends. And if anybody,
what's the dates?
It is the 24th of October, $35, and the website is mcpikemansion.com. And you got to hurry up because there may not be any room available after.
I wish I would have known about that. Of course, October is becoming the most craziest, busiest month for me. Of course,
it is.
I would have no time right now. Are they something they might do again next year too?
They do a summer camp out. I don't know if she's going to do it because, like I was telling you earlier, they did a summer camp out, and the only people that showed up that paid were me and my husband.
Oh, that's right.
I got my private 50th birthday party there. But there's usually a summer camp out, which is for adults and children, and it's $75 for up to 4 people, and
that's not bad.
$75 for 2 adults and 2 children, and then
that's what I'll have by next summer. So
and so there's porta potty, there's water, but you can go to town or you can it's up to you. But what's really fun about that is that you get all this information about it. She gives you a tour and everything, but you get the darkroom session in the basement, in which it's actually a wine cellar. But the wine cellar is where all the activity is, because they actually invite all the spirits down into the cellar. We had somebody get their chair lifted up. It was sitting next to me back in June. We had my daughter one time when we went. She got we found out she was empathic. That's the foot daughter, and she that's when she found out that she felt like she was having a heart attack there. We had children that were playing in my purse, and this is really funny. I have a clamshell wallet, and you have to push the button to open it. And I had made a big deal about putting my debit card away because my husband, you just throw it in your purse. You're just so you're such a irresponsible person with your debit card. You're always losing the damn thing. Well, he saw me put it in there and saw me close it up and put it in my purse. And I had a little dinky purse at the time, so there wasn't much room in there for anything. Later on, I'm feeling this stuff around my legs. And that, it's a basement, it's dirty, and it's our first time there, okay? So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's a mouse. Maybe my daughter threw her foot over and she's rubbing my leg. I don't know. But somebody across the room says, there's all these bright colored lights on Denise. And, none of these people know me at this point. I don't know a whole lot about anything other than what I've experienced. And Sandy, who's the shaman there, she goes, Denise, it's the kids. They're on your lap and they're messing in your purse. Are you okay with that? I said, sure. There's nothing in there but green tea gum. If they want it, they can have it. And green tea gum's not that good, okay?
No.
It's kind of nasty. But I don't like minty gums. So, we get this. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is bullshit. That's what I'm thinking, okay?
Well, yeah.
We get out of there, and I have to go pay for something. I bought something. And I know we went to McDonald's. I open up my wallet to get out my debit card, and it's not in there. I'm going crazy looking for it. And I look in the bottom of my purse, and it's in my purse underneath my wallet. So how in the hell did my stuff get out of there and into my purse?
Well, they were messing with your stuff.
Yeah. And so that was one of the things we had happen there. Another thing that was really unusual was a couple years ago, we were there and it was a family camp out, and there's about 40 people in the basement, which is about all it can hold.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot for that basement.
It is. But we're in there, and I'm sitting, my husband's next to me, then me, and then my daughter and my daughter's girlfriend and my other daughter, and I'm sitting there doing this. And my husband's going, am I seeing your hands? And I mean, and it's so dark in there, you can't see your hand in front of your face.
Right.
But he's seeing my hand, because I'm sitting there going, why do I see my rings? I shouldn't be seeing my rings.
Like your hands are glowing.
But there's there's a shaft of light on me. And my husband yells to everybody, does anyone see this shaft of light on Denise? And everybody goes, nope, we don't see anything. My daughters, they saw it. My daughter's girlfriend saw it. My husband saw it. I saw it. As soon as my husband said something, my daughter goes, ow, she got pinched and it went away.
Weird.
My daughter goes, Mom, I felt like it was Aunt Lou. Okay. Aunt Lou is my husband's aunt that she had died, and she was always messing with Lauren, always pinching her and stuff. And Lauren was always telling her, leave me alone, leave me alone. She was 3 years old at the time.
Yeah.
She's now, at this point she's, 20, and she walks out of there and she's just bawling. She goes, it was Aunt Lou, it was her, I know it was. And I go outside and I call her, one of her sons, and I go, apparently your mom's pissed at you guys, go figure it out. And the boys have been talking ever since.
We got a caller. Hey, Rob.
Okay.
You there? Uh-oh. You there, Rob? Oh, I didn't. Hold on a second, Rob. Hold on. This is my bad. Hold on, Rob. We got a call. Hey, Rob.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Hey, sorry. I had to plug you in.
You got a pokey.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
Cool. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, doing great, man. Hold on a second, Rob. I hear. Do you have it playing in the background?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, Rob. Oh, hold on. It's like the radio. You got to turn the radio off.
Yep. Sorry about that.
It's all right, man. Let's say, Rob, thank you for the Hack Radio Shack Spirit Box.
Oh, yeah, man.
I won this on Rob Autry's show he does on YouTube. Old City Vapors, right?
Yep.
Yeah, stop moving it so I can see it.
Hold on. There, you can see it?
Okay.
Yeah. This thing's really nice and clear.
Yeah. Yeah. If you, it gets some pretty good responses, for little basic radio. It works pretty darn good.
And Rob's going to be on our next Sunday ITC Collective show. He's going to be our main guest. So we're gonna give that thing a little test live on air.
Nice.
All right. I'll have to listen.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I won't be able to listen. I'm going to be traveling next week. I'll have to listen to the replay.
Yep. That's what's great about YouTube. You can go back and listen. So, Rob, did you have a question at all or a comment?
Yeah. I was just kind of wondering, I heard Denise mention the Ouija board a little bit ago, and I was wondering what her thoughts are on those.
I've never used one.
Okay.
So my thoughts are, more power to you if you're going to use one. Just like I said, I have had no experience with it, so I can't give you a positive or negative reaction.
Yeah. Okay.
She's used dowsing rods now.
Yes, I do use dowsing rods. I do use ITC devices. I do use, whatever comes to me at the time. So if something says, hey, you need to write this down, I'm going to write it down.
Okay, cool. That was my next question, actually, was, what is your favorite things to use?
Well, my favorite thing is actually me. I seem to be the best barometer of my paranormal experience. But for other people to be able to witness it, sometimes you need to have a tool in your hand for them to see. And
that's
so,
a great point.
So I tend to give people, teach people how to use dowsing rods. And like I tell people nowadays, I know what it's going to answer usually. I can feel it before it even goes. But, I'd much rather them hold it, and that way they know that when they get the answer, it's truly an answer, not me just saying, hey, it's a yes. You know?
Yeah.
So
I remember the first time I ever saw
we have people leave. Go ahead.
I would say the first time I ever saw somebody use dowsing rods, I'm like, well, they're just moving it.
Yeah.
But then I got to experiment with them, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
and they're moving. Yeah.
I felt the same way. You know, I was always like, it's just the way you're angling your hand. But then I tried it myself, and
same thing with the pendulum too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, I tend to hold the dowsing rods in a way to where they can see my fingers to see that, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm holding it like this. And they go, well, why do you hold it like that? I said, so you don't tell me that I'm the one using my fingers to make these rods move.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, I mean, all my hands are doing are supporting them. And that's when they leave believers after that. But you hand them to them and they get that tingle.
That's that
you
feel.
Know what, they're going,
yep.
Yeah, they're going home and they're making their own dowsing rods when they get there.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Kind of, yeah, exactly the way I felt about it.
Yeah, and I learned about dowsing rods at McPike Mansion.
And I wanted to mention too, me and Denise were talking about this before the show, and I couldn't find the footage. There's some great footage out there from, you think it was from 2006, Denise?
I know it was a long time ago. It had to be at least, it might have even been before 1998. Because I know Sharon bought the house way before 1998. So whenever she bought it, it was like within a year after that, because she didn't know she even bought a haunted house until people started telling her about her house being haunted.
Rob, there's this footage out there of the McPike Mansion where there's this whole like swirling mist of particles in the air, and it like flows around. It responds to people. It's one of the most incredible pieces of footage I've ever seen. I'm going to find it. And if anybody else knows where it is and getting a hold of me, send me the link on Facebook or whatever so I can show it. I'll show it again on another episode. I wish I would have got it before the show tonight. Me and her were both kind of trying to look for it before the show, but we couldn't find it. But it's incredible footage. There's some other footages I saw that people had got missed there and weird stuff, but nothing compares to this footage. It's incredible.
They do share that video that Renee got in the basement. They shared it on Fact or Faked, and that's the reason why Fact or Faked went out there. So you may be able to at least watch that to see this portion of the original video.
That's right. You told me it's Fact or Faked, and I forgot. I missed that show. But I didn't want to show a Fact or Fake show on my show. You know?
No, I don't blame you there. But people can go out and look at it, and they can at least see the original footage out there.
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing.
And like I told you, you heard my husband tell you about him witnessing this mist, and it was just so fast that they couldn't get it. They didn't have cameras on or nothing, but they witnessed it.
Oh, Rob lives in another great town for hauntings, St. Augustine.
Oh yeah, I want to go there. That's one of my favorite places that I've never been.
Awesome.
Yeah, he likes to sit out at 3 a.m. in front of haunted famous places with his SCD-1 spirit box and stuff. Have the cops wonder what he's doing.
Well, I hear that people are planning on camping out at the in St. Louis on the 30th because they say, hey, it's public property for the exorcism.
Oh yeah, you've seen that, Rob, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Because it's not really public property. It's a private neighborhood.
No, that's
My
not.
husband's from St. Louis.
Well, I'm going to say thank you, Rob, for calling in, man.
Yeah,
for the question. And I'll see you next Sunday.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Talk to you later. Yeah, I'm jealous of you being so close to the Sally house, and Rob living in St. Augustine. LaPorte, we got some great stuff. We have Belle Guinness is one of the first female serial killers. You look her up online. It's a very interesting story. It's way too long for me to get into here tonight. But look up Belle Guinness. She killed more than 40 guys and then got away with it.
Oh, I like her.
Yeah, well, she was a pretty evil woman, though. She ended up.
Yeah, we have our very own like that in Missouri too. We have Morse Mill, which isn't too far away.
But next year, if they got something going on McPike Mansion, I totally like a camp out like that. I would totally try to come because I've always wanted to go there ever since I've seen that video. Well, I wanted to thank you, Denise, so much for coming on with your. I know you had the mysterious jaw dislocation happened. We don't know if it's related to the Sally house or not.
Don't care. Just want to get over it.
I know. I hope so. That's awful. But thank you so much for coming on. Anytime you want to come on the show, again, I would love to have you and pick your brain more about some of these great locations you've been to, or if you got more evidence and stuff you want to ever bring on the show or anything new, I'd always have you on. You've been interesting. You filled the night up with so much great information and stories. You know, you were awesome.
Well, it helps to have my own show, so I know how to fill in time.
And if you ever want me on your show, I do a great EVP show.
I know, and I try to get a little bit of time between the time that you're on one of our network shows before I get you on mine.
Okay.
You know? Only because it's kind of, they just heard you 3 weeks ago. Why do they want to hear you?
No. And I'm right now in the month of October and November being in retail, and December, I'm booked.
Oh, I know. I'm booked all the way through to December myself. So.
But in the future, I would love to come on your show. That'd be awesome.
I will keep that in mind.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the comments. I'm trying to keep up on the Q&A. This is, again, the Q&A is getting more and more like a chat room. It looks like people are. I didn't know people could see each other's Q&A comments on here, but I guess they do. So I guess it's kind of like a chat room. It worked out. A lot of comments tonight. Loving your information, Denise. A lot of people loved how informative you were. So you know, a lot of stuff got out there that I don't think people heard about the Sally House. So thank you so much. And thank you guys for your Q&As. Thanks, Rob, for calling in. And again, next Sunday is going to be the ITC Collective Show, Rob Autry. We're going to have him on. We're going to do some live experiments. We're going to watch some of his Weird Wednesday videos. We're going to get, he does a Weird Wednesday segment with his ITC stuff. It's great. So thank you, Denise. See you guys next Sunday. Let me get my music rolling. Again, also Halloween night. I do my show usually Sunday night, but Halloween night, I'm going to do a show. I'm not going to do a show that next Sunday. It's going to be live. I'm going to have Jamie D'Amelio. I know I just butchered your name, Jamie. Sorry. Lisa Hughes, Katrina Cooper, Michael James. Those are people I got so far. We're going to get on here. We're going to get dressed up on the show, wear our Halloween costumes. I'm going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's by my son's request. And we're going to get on the show, do open lines, play some EVP evidence. And the open lines, guys, call in Halloween night. If you got a ghost story, call in. I want to hear it. All right. Thank you, guys. See you next Sunday.
Leave your soul behind. All the signs align, and what you gon'
You're not the first person to make strange faces, Denise, when I put the music on.
No, it's my daughter. She's making faces at me. Are you still on? And that's why I go. She does that. She'll be taking selfies, and I'll photobomb her and make faces. She's got a lot of these.
You have a great night, Denise. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
When times are still mine, and so long they will. Never found my fill of
Again, thanks guys for listening tonight. Don't forget, next Sunday, 10 p.m. to midnight, we're going to be doing the ITC Collective Show with Rob Autry and his Weird Wednesday videos. He's got some great videos I want to talk about. And then our live ITC experiments. Might add another guest to that show too. I don't know. I've been looking at who I might want to bring from the ITC Collective on. We'll see. We got a lot to talk about. There's going to be a lot of talk about the Impossible Box. A lot of talk about the Impossible Box. So see you next Sunday, guys. And don't forget, Halloween night. Got a ghost story? Please call in on my Skype line. Halloween night, 10 p.m. to midnight. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you.